Now, James, I want to just talk about that image that Benjamin Netanyahu posted. So devastating. And, you know, we've seen the entirety of this week that the innocent, the vulnerable, pregnant women, children, babies have been targeted by these Hamas terrorists. And I think that's what makes everything that we've seen so horrific and so emotional. You know, we're not seeing a regular war, a regular contact where it's soldier to soldier. We have seen that the terrorists came in and targeted regular, innocent people at their most vulnerable in their home. I mean, I want to give you a chance to speak. I don't mean to be speaking for so long, but, you know, that story about the young couple who put their twin babies in the safe house, just managed to keep them there safe, and then came out and they were shot dead. It doesn't get more horrific.
No, and I mean, every single thing we've seen here is so horrific. It's not about, you know, as you say, some strategic conflict between armies and taking territory and, you know, that sort of thing. But this has been about inflicting the most maximum terror. The thing that I keep thinking too, Sharri, through this is, you know, who are these people? Where do they find these people? How do they train these people to be so utterly vile and depraved to commit these sorts of crimes? What sort of hate is in them to be doing this sort of thing? It boggles the mind. But then, you know, what do we see? We see the usual stuff here. Well, Israel, they need to be restrained. No one's saying Iran be restrained, Hamas be restrained, Hezbollah be restrained. It's always Israel be restrained. And I think that this is something that we need to really be on high alert for as Israel works to regain its security here, root out Hamas, and do whatever else needs to be done, that we don't get caught in this whole sort of, you know, game of equivalent moralities here, because there simply is not, between the way Israel conducts itself and the way its enemies, who would destroy every last Jew on the planet if they had their chance. Just read the charters of Hamas and Hezbollah. When people tell you who they are, Sharri, believe them and act accordingly.
And I think what's been also so shocking is that, you know, we sit here in beautiful Australia, tolerant Australia, where we have values of mateship and acceptance, and we think all of that hatred and that cruelty is a world away, but yet we've seen people celebrate it and agree with it here.
And endorse it.
Even at the University of Sydney, who have, you know, this week endorsed it, used the occasion to launch boycott, divestment and sanctions petitions. It's disgusting.
Well, it is. And, you know, this is really where there's a dividing line here, you know, between civilization and barbarism. And I'm sorry, but that's the only way that you can think about this. And there is a big group of people on the progressive left, not all people on the left, many are very honorable on this, but who have a real problem with Israel, have a real problem, frankly, with Jewish people, sympathize with the Palestinians, and sympathize with anybody, you know, who has this real sort of violent streak against the West, because that's really what we're talking about here. Anti-Semitism is a real sickness of a sick society, and it needs to be rooted out wherever we see it.
Yeah. Now, James, Australian Chinese journalist Cheng Lei celebrating her first day on Australian soil in 3 years. She tweeted today, "Tight hugs, teary screams, holding my kids in the spring sunshine. Trees shimmy from the breeze. I can see the entirety of the sky now. Thank you, Aussies." I mean, a wonderful occasion. I don't mean to be cynical, but I do note that the video that's been released to go with this happy occasion has been of Cheng Lei thanking the Prime Minister and Penny Wong. So it looks like they are using this for political purposes.
Well, look, I mean, I think it's still a happy occasion. Cheng Lei, I've written about her and done a documentary about her. It's great news that she's back. I think the Albanese government did a great job on this. Penny Wong did a great job. I've been critics of them on a lot of things, but on this I say well done. But there's others like Yang Hangjun still in Chinese prison. So, you know, it's not the end of the road.
James Morrow, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Sharri.